the most common AI tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, to build that landing page out and then take it over to web hosting. In my case, I'm using SiteGround web hosting, but it could be anything running something like cPanel hosting. This would be where you actually have hosting with maybe your domain name. So if you're using, say, Crazy Domains or using Web Central, any of those, they can host these really, really easily. Just a few keys that we might need to watch to make sure that it is actually able to be done like that. So let's have a look and see how that works. Okay, over on ChatGPT, we've got, I'll share the screen. That will probably be very helpful if you could see what I'm actually doing on my screen. So let's get that screen shared. On to ChatGPT. There we go, showing up on screen now. So you got all the normal stuff. I'll just make it a little bit easier for you to read, so it's a bit bigger. What we're going to do in here is create what we need our landing page to do. So I'm going to ask a question. Okay, um, I'm going to talk to it because honestly, my typing is atrocious. So do you know what the layout for a general landing page would be? Let's just say it's for a business consultant who works in remote communities in Western Australia, Northern Territory, Queensland, and they work a lot with, people working with each other in a way that they can do better with each other, maybe things like positive duty or those duty of care kind of workshops, that kind of thing. I want you to specifically put together a landing page that includes a placeholder for my MailChimp code to go into so that people can sign up to find out more about it, and also a little bit of information about what this, let's just say it's a positive duty workshop that we're going to be doing in a remote place. Let's call it Cloncurry in Queensland. So I was just sort of thinking on the top of my head there what that might look like and what it might be. So Cloncurry is not right. Cloncurry. There you go. Might be a little bit easier to figure out what I'm talking about. So what it's going to do, I'm just going to sort of asking a question if it understands what would normally be in there. I'm going to copy that into Gemini as well, just into the free version of Gemini and the default parts. I might even take the quicker version Sonnet, which is the default version of Claude as well. So I'm going to copy all that in the same places. So it's got all the information in here, what the workshop's about. It's done a bit of a workshop, rundown for me. Okay, the facilitator, it's all very general. And now ChatGPT is starting the whole coding process over here. So it's putting together code, and then once it's done that code, which it's already done. Wow, that's quick. It's already done it. I've got a preview window here, so we can have a look at roughly what it might look like. So to me, it looks like crap. It's not really it's not really a layout for a website. Let's go to Gemini, see what it's doing. So it's putting together the information for us. Great. Okay, so now what I want to do is add this and make it a canvas. So this there. If I go plus, go canvas. Say turn this into a website layout that would be standard for a landing page to gather email addresses. I will insert my MailChimp embed code later. Usually what it is, MailChimp will give you an embed code so people can be part of your mailing list, that kind of thing. So let's go in there and in Claude. So Claude's going to work a little hard. Claude's just gone straight and built the landing page. As I expect no less from Claude, it just does the work. So it's interesting it's done that. Register your interest. So it's pointing off. So it's done. Okay, what I'm going to do is point off to that. It hasn't given us much with that, but it has given us like some um, area to fill in that will look very, very different online. So what I could say is, has it got more information? Yeah, there you go. So it's got this. So what it's done is done a lot of layout here, which you can't really see at a full width screen. So it looks really kind of strange, but it's given us a really nice layout. We could give it all our branding information. We can say, okay, use this font, use this. It's got some photo placeholders in there for us. Get the details when they're confirmed. It's corrected my spelling because I only put one R in Cloncurry. And it's got the MailChimp form here. So it's essentially done a really, really nice looking job for us. Let's go back to Gemini. So now I've actually told it to do a little bit more. It's now got an Outback Synergy landing page. That looks sensational. How good does this look? Wow. It's done a really good job of it. And it's just filled in a lot of details. Now, of course, we haven't told it a lot about what positive duty is. You would obviously have a lot more stuff that you would put in there to make that look good. So it's also done placeholders. So it's a placeholder block for MailChimp to put the MailChimp information in there. It's also got a lot of stuff. So linking off to the tickets, so you can link off to your wherever you're selling them, Eventbrite or Humanitix or whatever you're doing. It's actually suggesting there might be, areas that might be able to reach there, although driving from Mount Isa to Cloncurry is one thing, but long reach to Cloncurry might be a bit of a stretch. But also saying they're actively running them in these other different places as well. So it's taken a lot of liberties, but it's given like an FAQ. What exactly is positive duty? Can you tailor a private workshop for our specific council? It's done a really good job. I'm surprised just how good it is, but it has made a lot of assumptions about the amount of stuff that I want in there. Let's have a look at now. ChatGPT just really didn't do a good job of this at all. So what I'm going to do is go over and make one of these go live. We'll make a few of them go live. So I'm going to go into, this is my web hosting panel. I use SiteGround at the moment, but I can go into, say, any one of my domains that I've attached to here. So I'm going to use the ASOC one. So ASOC. I'm going to go into my site tools. This will look a bit different for a lot of other web hosting that uses cPanel, for example. It has a different thing. You're looking at maybe just the one domain on your hosting, whereas I got multiples on mine. And then the file manager is very obvious here, but it might be a little less obvious on something like cPanel. I'll give you an example of a cPanel one anyway. I'll log into one of my other accounts and they'll sort of show you what it's doing. So Fast Comedy is one that I use that does have cPanel. So I've got a couple of accounts with them. Let's just say there's one over here. And how it will look for you is more like when I go to log into Control Panel, it's going to open up a new window and log into the cPanel for this. This is what most web hosting looks like, this sort of layout. So what you'll be doing in here is going to the file manager. So it's down here, sometimes a little higher up, but in this case, these guys are laid it out down here. And then I'd find a folder within there with which to host it. So I'll have to look for, one particular folder that's available that I'm not going to completely mess up. Although that said, I don't think any of these are actually active right now. So I couldn't really do that easily. But in the case of my one in SiteGround, a bit easier. I can just go in here and in here, public HTML and on all hosting, whether it is cPanel hosting. So I go into public HTML in there as well. And within SiteGround is under public HTML. That is the viewable folder within your web hosting that then displays that for the world. So inside there, I'm going to build myself a new little directory. I'm going to say this is going to be positive duty. Okay, so I'm just creating a folder. So what I want to do is go to asoc.com.au/positive duty. And within there, I'm going to have a few different files. Usually what you do is in there, you create a file called index.html. And this is the default naming convention for whatever you want to show up in that folder. So if someone says asoc.com.au/positive duty, this is the file that it actually be showing. Another variation is default.html. I use index because it's just, I know it's what I've always used. I can then open up that file and I can paste in the code from one of my places. So let's see what Claude looks like. So I've got the Claude one over here. I'm going to pick it up. See, I've got I can hover over this, go down. I want to actually pick that up and show it. So it's show me all that stuff. I need to copy it. So I need the code for that. Come on, up at top, right up the top. There you go. So there, I got a copy to clipboard. So I can copy that to clipboard. It'll copy all of that code for me. Hopefully it just did that. Or I can download the file. So I can download positive duty landing page.html. So I'm going to download that to my device. I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to open up that file on my desktop. You won't see me actually doing this part of it because it's only sharing my, yes, you will. There you go. View source. So you can see what it looks like. See, there's not as much difference around it. And that's then what it will look like. So what I want to do is take the source, view page source. Don't need to follow that bit. You'll probably pick that one up in the recording later on, but it's not important for you to know that piece because normally you wouldn't need to do this. And if I save that, That is now live on the server. That's live on the internet. So I go asoc.com.au/positive duty. Up it comes. That's now live on the internet. Now, I can't really register interest there because I haven't linked it through to anywhere to register the interest. But you can still read everything. It's given us a good little rundown on what's on there. Pretty cool, right? And this will also be very much, let me go inspect and I'll turn this to a version that's like on a mobile. So you can see that it's very much mobile compatible as well. So it's going to show up very nicely on there. Now, you changing it into your colors and fonts, that's something we can do within Claude or within Gemini or within ChatGPT. What I'm going to do for now, though, I'm going to create another file in my little pocket of files here. So close this one. See, I've got the index.html. I'm going to create another one called Gemini.html. We're going to go specifically to that file when we open it up because we want to see what the Gemini version, remember this one, what that looks like. So I'm going to look at the code. I'm going to copy that code. So just highlight it all, copy, go back into my site tools, go to Gemini, save that. And now I'm going to exactly the same place, but I'm going to add on instead, because if I went index.html, it's just the same file. It just refreshes that one. But I'm going to change index to Gemini. And we're going to have the other version, which you look at and go, ooh, that looks pretty good. It's nice and bright and light. Very simple read. It's got a lot of information on there. It's got way more than I ever want to actually put on there. I don't know why it's added so much, but it's also, called it Outback Synergy Consulting. So it's got like a name of a company that's added in there. So I can change all that. That stuff I can change either within the code, which is definitely for the brave of heart. If we go in there, I go Synergy, Outback Synergy, I can change that to, I don't know, click consulting or something. And then I'll find where else that exists. So Outback Synergy, change that to click consulting. And that's how I would make the changes, then save them. And then in this case, I need to also then go and do a caching clear. So if I clear the caching, it'll also then allow me to see those changes live on the internet. So you don't need to know that. Yours probably won't have that. My one does have that. So we go out to this one. We're looking for up the, where is it? Down the bottom where it says that Outback Synergy Consulting there. I'm going to refresh and see if that changes that. Now, should do. Come on. Nope, didn't do it, but it changed it somewhere else. I just don't know. I'll click consulting. It changed it at the top. So I made the change there at the top bit there. So that did work. So then I can look for elsewhere where that is. So if I look through the file again, looking for synergy, so local team synergy, I don't want to change that one. Outback, so here it is. That would be the bit down the bottom. So I go click consulting and look for another synergy here. Outback Synergy Consulting. There's the copyright. So I go click consulting. And this is how you'd make little one-off changes within the code. You just do a Control F or a Command F if you're using a Mac, and you'll be able to find where those different things are. So if I save that again, clear my cache. Remember, you don't necessarily need to clear your cache if you're using other hosting. And then click consulting is now showing down there. So that's look, I don't recommend you go in there and start playing with code. Like that is for the brave of heart and those who feel much more confident doing it. I've been playing with code since 1996. So for me, it's not really a scary thing to do, but for others, it might be. So what would you do instead? Well, what I would probably do is I'd go into, in that case, Gemini and say, please make the company, let's call it Brownland Consulting. And change the main colors to, and I'm going to go and pick out some colors from Canva from my particular color palette. So I've already got my brand information saved in Canva. So I go to colors. I can then see here is a layout of colors for different versions I've used. I'm going to go from default to the click starter one because that's what I'm using the most now. In my colors, I can see these are the colors that I use. So I'm just going to do a screenshot of that. I'm going to screenshot it. And I also know that my fonts in here are using Fig Tree. So this font is called Fig Tree. And so if I open that up, you can see fig tree using different weights of that fig tree. So this one is a title, it's bold. It's using fig tree extra bold or something like that. So I go back into the chat that I was having. I can go change the main colors to the attached and make all fonts fig tree, extra bold for headings, and regular for paragraph text. So this is what I'm doing now, is to make it so that it does this in a way that's going to be a lot easier to be able to make those changes. So it's already got colors of the Outback. So if you see in this code on the right here, it's got all these color codes, this FD, FB, F7. Very hard for me to sort of make that bigger, but you can see those color codes there. That's the color palette it's using. I'm changing that now to the screenshot of my color palette that I provided. So let's go in there. This is using Flash. I'm just going to, it's using a very fast, very, very generous version of Google Gemini. So I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to go and do the exact same thing in Claude now. Add files and photos, add the screenshot, put this same message in there. I'm going to go, and it's going to change that now. In Gemini, it's now doing that. We can't see it yet because it hasn't done all the work. It's still doing the work in here as well. And I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to give ChatGPT a little bit more context to work for. I want you to use the kind of layout you'd expect for this kind of landing page, and use the following colors. Sorry, I'm going to say the attached colors and the fig tree font, extra bold for headings, because sometimes you need to tell it that extra information. I'm going to load up the screenshot again. So it's got the same kind of information in there, but I've told it specifically. So what I didn't do before, I didn't give it any sort of instructions on, the kind of thing I wanted to do with this landing page. All it did was just create an HTML file that doesn't look good. So I'm going to give it a bit more information, say, look, have a look at what you think this would be. Now, I'm also not using the canvas. It's saying, hey, here's what I would do. It's now rewriting that code. It's picked out my colors, which is great. Let's go back to Gemini now. Gemini is now finished. It's told me that it's done what it's done. Preview it. Way different, right? Brownland Consulting Group. It's done it in my colors. It's not sure colorful. It's got my font in there as well. So it's done something which is a lot nicer for me. So if I go and grab that code now again, go back into my site tools here into Gemini HTML. Remember, I've got the two. This one's the Gemini one. So I'm going to replace all that code with a new code. Press go. In my case, clear the cache so I can display it straight away. This page now, refresh, and it should come up with a brand new one. There you go. Brighter, more me. This would be the style I would have. Now, how do I change all these elements? As you can probably guess, the way I changed the elements to begin with was to go tell it what colors I want, what fonts I want. If I want to change these words, I go, well, let's change those words. Work better together, protect each other. I'm going to change that to change, then that. So here's what I'm writing in there. So I can get that closer so you can read it. To, and I'm going to change it to another set of words. You can work better together and protect each other. So a bit more invitational rather than directional. There you go. I told it to do that. Now I'll go back through the code and replace where it found that text into the new text. And then you do that for all the other pieces. So what I generally like to do is give it an example of the kind of thing I'm looking for, and then I make changes one at a time. As you can see here, it's now going through and doing all that code. I can do the same in Claude. Claude's now done another bit of a job. It's still done that sort of dark thing at the top, but it's then also done what I asked it to do, using my color palette, using my highlight colors, using my font as well. So I can grab that as well, go back up to the top where we did before, grab that file or copy to clipboard. So it should be able to copy it. Yep, it's copied it. I can go into the other file now. So remember I had Gemini HTML and index HTML. I'm going to go to index, post it in here. Didn't actually pick it up, so I'm gonna have to try that again. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Let's try that again. Copy to clipboard. Copy, 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 copy. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come on, you've done it. No, really doesn't want to do this. So let's try. Sorry, this it's started bugging out a little bit today. Hasn't done it in anything else I've done all day, just today in this when I go live. Isn't that typical? So I can go download that file again and pick up the code another way. Oh gosh, where am I? I've got lost. Here we go. Back. That's the old one. Here's the new one. Down here. So I can download that file again. And then I'll open it separately where I can grab the code from. Not the inspect, sorry. This one. View page source. Grab my code. Go back in that file. Gosh, it's a bit backwards and forwards, I know. Save that. Clear the cache again so I get the newer version of it. And then I'm going to go into index.html rather than Gemini.html. So it's showing me the old version. Give it a quick refresh. And now it's got the new version with Brownland Consulting, the fig tree, my colors. And if I wanted to change anything else, such as, for instance, I don't like these, like all these dark backgrounds, I want to get rid of those, I can actually get rid of those. So I can go, okay, change that background to something light to make the whole thing lighter. So I just would literally ask that. I want the whole landing page to be lighter and less dark. So I can be as vague as that in asking questions which are, not particularly descriptive. I can just go, I want the whole page to be lighter and less dark. Same with over here in Gemini. It's now updated the main character, so it's now changed that. So if I press preview, you can work better together and protect each other. So if I was to pick up that code again, go over, replace it in my Gemini.html file. Here we go. And then save, clear my cache. And now I've got a version of that, which I go, oops, not that one, but this one. Let's go to Gemini.index. And that's now live on the internet as well. Refresh, there you go. You can work better together and protect each other. So it's now got more of that. And that's all you're doing. You just look at what you want it to change, what words you want to change. You ask it to change those words. But you can also stack those changes together. So you can say, number one, do this. Number two, do this. Number three, do this. Number four, do this. Or put all the changes you want in one document and then load that document up, say a Word file or a text file that you want everything to change. Ideally, what you would do, you'd know what you want your landing page to say. So you would preload that up and say, here's the information I want on there. This is the link I want it to go to in order to reach the Eventbrite page or the Humanitics page, like they take those bookings and payments off. So that's really basic. Now back to ChatGPT. Let's see if it's actually done any better a job. So we've got now this new version of it, this new code. It's not showing me a preview because sometimes ChatGPT just will not show you the preview of that. So I'm going to copy that code and we're going to go into our hosting again. Close that one. Open a new file. I'm going to call this one chat.html. And let's see what it's done for us. Now, ChatGPT is a very good coding tool, but it's just not doing well for us today. So let's have a look and go to the same place, but chat.html. See what it has to say to us. Not bad. Now it's got a bit of a code issue up there. It's probably my copy and paste, but that's looking pretty good now. That's way better than what it was. I gave it some instructions. I told it a bit more about what I wanted. And now it's actually showing some really bright, really cheerful looking landing page. In fact, that is more on brand for me than I think the other two are. So I thought it was struggling because it's not showing me the ability to see this in line, so I can't actually see it. Go down. But it's told me what it did, but the end product was actually excellent. That looks really good. So I would work with that. That looks so on brand for me. And despite it having no images and no graphics, it looks very easy to read and very, very easy to be able to sort of follow along and very bright and cheerful. And it's followed exactly what I asked it to do. The extra bold and then the regular here. It's also followed a lot of my background information, such as, and it's got links that work that go around. It's pretty awesome. But it's also followed my basic stuff. I said, leave the MailChimp code free. So if I wanted to make that change, I would go into ChatGPT and find where the MailChimp code is. So if I go to MailChimp, let's go out to a full screen. Here we go. So I'm looking for MailChimp in here. So it's got 15 mentions of it, but it's not taking me through it. So this is where, the inline editing is not as great on ChatGPT, where you can actually go and search through the code much more easily. So it's got lots and lots of mentions of MailChimp. Here we go. That's a bit better. Use the space below for MailChimp code. So this is where you put the code in from MailChimp or MailerLite or wherever you're getting your Go High Level or whatever your CRM happens to be that's using that code. And then that will render inside that box in here. And so that will be actual form that would then show it. So yeah, that's the basics of creating a landing page. So you've got the ChatGPT version there. I can fix up that little bit of code that I actually made a mistake with. So let me just go back in there and see what I did wrong. There we go. That there. I didn't delete that last little piece of code. So let's just get rid of that. Clear my cache and reload. And that should get rid of that random code. There we go. Much better. So we've got that version. We've got the Claude version. Like it or hate it, you'll pick out the one that really works better for you. And then we've got the Gemini version. Straight off the bat, Gemini looks cool. It's multifaceted. It's got some little rainbow stuff going on in it. It's very pretty. That and then the ChatGPT version. Personally, for me, I think ChatGPT absolutely killed it this time around. But with a little bit of information I gave each of them on how to do this, it's done a really good job of creating a landing page. And then what I've got to do is just insert the bits I want, make the changes I want to make just by talking to my tools, going in here and saying, okay, I can see this. This is Gemini, by the way. Change this, just write it in or talk to it. You can talk to all these tools. Even Claude now has a little microphone where you can talk to it as well. And you're able to tell it what exactly it is you need changed about that website. And that is pretty much all there is to doing a landing page or anything, even a whole website on here. What is difficult is that you're not creating a tool that allows you, say, like WordPress or Wix or Squarespace to go in and make changes here, add in a blog and all that. If you were doing that, you'd have to create an actual content management system on here, copy all that across to your web hosting, and then work with it that way. But then you'll need to know how authentication works. You'll need to know how cybersecurity works. In these cases, these are just plain HTML files with JavaScript. So there's nothing particularly unsecure about any of them. They just work and they're really easy to do. Can you build a website this way? Kind of, sort of. It's just if you don't want to change anything, it's great to do this. If you're happy to go in and make small changes in code, by all means do this. But really what you need is a content management system that helps you to make those changes in, say, page builders like in WordPress, such as Divi and Elementor, or using those all-in-one systems like your Wixes and your Squarespaces and Framer and Webflow and all those ones.